Greetings, my friends. I'm Andrea, astrologer, and welcome to this special monthly, I would say, but rather long-term video, which refers to the transit of Saturn in the Sidereal Pisces. I briefly mentioned this for the month of March, and indeed the transit happens in the last days of March, and it is a long-term transit like around 3 years, almost 3 years, depending on the speed of Saturn in the retrograde. So this means that we will have to deal with this influence for the next 3 years roughly. We got a bit of flavor and a taste of it because we have it already in the tropical zodiac, and the interpretations of the signs are pretty similar, I would say, with some minor differences. And I would like to mention at first what we can expect in the sign of Pisces, what will be most important for 2025 from all this transit that is longer. And I would like also to talk about the impact on crypto. And if you stay until the end, you will also find out what are 3 altcoins that would benefit from this transit in 2025. So let's go for it, and I would like to start with Saturn, with its significance that it has, especially from a financial market standpoint. Saturn is the planet of law, it is the great teacher, it is also the representative of justice in the world, but also in a normal sense between people and in court cases, for example. And in Pisces, it is about putting boundaries to things that were unbounded before. This means also more restrictions in terms of immigration, also cuts, restrictions in globalization in general, and on the geopolitical scene, I think we already start to see this. It is a more restrictive environment because Pisces is with no bounds, with no borders. But now with Saturn, we will have this significance of creating clear borders around things. It is about rules, it's about discipline, it's about routine. So it will bring a lot of rigidity in the sign of Pisces, which is about unboundedness, about being very charitable to anybody, especially towards people who are not so fortunate. It is about having this universal attitude, universal love, benevolence towards the whole good of humanity. And it is unorganized in a way, because this Pisces energy would flow like the ocean. It is also a symbol for the ocean, and it is linked in a more, let's say, material sense to medicine and hospitals. And this means that we will have health reforms in the upcoming years and more regulation there that would be really used in order to streamline processes, to automate a lot, because it has also a flavor of finishing the things in the sense that we will change the procedures and the processes, especially in 2025, and I will outline also why this happens. From a sidereal perspective, we do have 3 constellations which are in the sign of Pisces, and the first one is Purva Bhadrapada. This is ruled by Jupiter, and it is the first segment of the Pisces zodiac sign, and it is basically the 4th pada, or the 4th part, the last part of this constellation, which is crossed. This has as a symbol the fire, the purifying fire of the funeral, actually. So it's linked to the end, to things that come to an end, that are purged, that are cleaned up through the fire, because fire has this cleaning energy. So it's about distracting something, because you destroy something, an old procedure, old way of doing things, but then a new way will come to fruition in order to evolve further in such areas that I mentioned. It is also very linked to oceans, to discovery in terms of the seas, the deep ocean, because especially Uttara Bhadrapada, the next constellation or nakshatra, is linked to the bottom of the ocean. So new discoveries can be made in terms of this aquatic life and maybe other mysteries that are buried now in the oceans. But in terms of finance, it also has this vibration of hidden wealth that it was really emphasized by Rahu before, if you remember, but Rahu crossed the sign of Pisces the other way around because Rahu is always retrograde, and we got these opportunities there, expansion maybe in hidden wealth, but now Saturn will discover it, will regulate it, will have a unveiling action towards such matters, and they will come to the surface. It is also about hidden connections, hidden networks of people. So this is also something that could be discovered in terms of various initiatives in the world, groups and so on. Think social media or other social media that is really tapping now to the surface, although it was behind the scenes developing since years. So this is also something that we can see. It is about coming from the ocean, from the deep of the ocean to the limelight. We can think deep seek, for example, for AI. So such phenomena is very likely, especially in 2025. Now Saturn will cross this last part of the Purva Bhadrapada, but then it will go into Utra Bhadrapada, which is the second constellation, and this is ruled by Saturn. So Saturn will be very strong there. And Uttara Bhadrapada, like any other constellation, has 4 parts. And this will be crossed entirely, but we will get only the flavor of the first pada. Approximately in the year of 2025. This is due to the retrograde motion of Saturn, which will be retrograde between July 13th, November 28th. So this means that we will get around 7 degrees and 48 minutes of the Sidereal Pisces. This is with the KP, Krishnamurti, Ayanamsha, that would really go towards the Pushkara Bhaga, which is a very important star in this constellation. It's also a wealth-giving star. That would emphasize really a steady growth, and I think all the wealth that is made through legal means will have the chance to flourish if it is a compliance. So if it complies to the rules and regulations. So this is the message that is given by Saturn in this case. Also, the frameworks that will be developed in this period of time, be it linked to medicine or to the oceans, to the seas of the world, something in this regard, all the discoveries will have persistence in time because Saturn is very strong in this area. So everything that is really well established will flourish. And basically Saturn will cross back the whole Pisces, going towards the first degree, so again in Purva Bhadrapada at the end of the year, and then it will go into Uttara Bhadrapada, going through all these portions of the zodiac, of this constellation actually, and then into the Revati nakshatra or constellation, which is the last part of the Sidereal Pisces. It's the last constellation of the zodiac, and there we do have the star of wealth, and this is ruled by Mercury, which is also the sign of markets, trading, and of course this means that we might have the possibility to get a super cycle or a longer cycle in crypto. Some people already vehiculate this, so it's really speculating right now, but I wouldn't see it as excluded, and this is also due to some influences that this Saturn has upon Bitcoin, which is still the dominant force in the crypto market, and also on other altcoins that that we will talk about now. So the first influence that I would like to mention is on the fact that it will positively influence through a trine aspect from this position of Sidereal Pisces, both the ascendant, so the Lagna, and the moon. Of course, the ascendant is sort of approximated because we are in the cloud, so geolocation is not exact like for normal births, but we will really see this as a positive influence that we feel in 2025. So both the moon and the ascendant are positively affected. Now Saturn will not cross this in 2025 through exact aspect, but the aspect is already activated because it's long term, it is within the orb of influence, so to speak, and it will be really felt stronger in July. I would say towards the June, July, the mid of the year, that it will be a positive influence towards Bitcoin, and it will likely result into a price increase. We will also have another important transit that we will talk in the future because this will happen later in the year. Jupiter going briefly, only briefly in the sidereal Cancer, which means that it will approach the moon and the ascendant of Bitcoin, which means again that this is a very positive influence that comes on top of this influence from Saturn. So this means that it's a very eventful year for Bitcoin, 2025 and 2026, when this aspect would be exact, because whenever Jupiter and Saturn would aspect the same part of a certain horoscope, which is the case, and it's also the ascendant and the moon for Bitcoin, this means that it will have the power to manifest and to really trigger the the events that are very important in the life of that horoscope, so in the evolution of Bitcoin as such, and also it will have for sure some consequence on the price action and the price that Bitcoin will have. Now it is important to take into account the fact that Saturn in general brings growth in terms of pricing in financial markets, but under a strict regulation usually, and this will not happen so fast like in the case of Jupiter, and it happens also in a more stable manner. So it's step by step. It's like a progressive action that yields results on the way. So it's not like a quantum jump like in the case of Uranus, or really big steps forward like in the case of Jupiter. But whatever comes is stable and also has the chance to be very powerful in time. So there are events that are persistent in time. So it's a really measurable progress that is sustainable. So I would say it's sustainable growth. And this is not only for Bitcoin, but if we look at the horoscopes of other altcoins, others are affected as well. And I promised to mention some. It's a very strong point in the chart that is activated and it will be stable. And these coins are Solana, WIF, and WorldCoin. For example, these are also influenced by this Saturn, which means that it will have this stability, a flavor of stability in their growth, and this will come in 2025 since the first part of the Sidereal Pisces is involved here in the transit of Saturn. Now with this Saturn we can conclude that we will have a more organized view on creation in general, on innovation, on exploring things. It is an important part in the cycle of scientific discovery in humanity in terms of visualizing processes and organizing them in a better way. Also, all the innovation that is really coming, and it came also in the last years with AI, I would say that it will be really summarized and organized in frameworks that are really universal universally applicable afterwards and can be used as a scientific method for the future, because we have this again Jupiter-Saturn manifestation. We have Saturn transiting this part of the zodiac, and Pisces, the rule of Pisces is Jupiter. This is the traditional rule of Pisces, and it's again this merge between Jupiter expansion and Saturn, like semantic. It's about restriction, but it's about putting a shape and a boundary on these innovative ideas that are flowing all around and all over the place. We can say that there are 3 years that are quite interesting in terms of scientific evolution and in terms of organizing things and putting boundaries, labeling, categorizing things. Yes, for better or worse. In some domains it will be better, in some domains there would be more disadvantages to it, but this is what we can expect in 2025, 2026 and a bit beyond in 2027 as well. Thank you so much for your attention, for liking and subscribing. It helps the channel, and until next time, be joyful. See you.